Satnam.
Satnam.
There we go.
Comfy there. Satnam. Shiv Shankar.
And Samaj.
Day 37.
7.
Day 37 of 40 days. Sit and drop no matter what.
Sit and drop no matter what.
And we have sat and we've dropped.
Even through hospitals and
travels and yeah, and here we are. Feeling a little better today. Looking a little better. Got half my hair done. You see, like you can see this side's much better than this side.
I'm getting there.
I'm a half do.
I'm getting there. I'm not a professional.
There was a time when that wouldn't have been good enough, but it's amazing what's good enough these days.
Standards get lowered.
I don't know that its standards get lowered. I think it's priorities. I think it's priorities. I think that, you know, being, my current phrase, nailed to the present moment is, well, in many ways it's humbling, and in many ways it's very expansive, because, you know, I thought I was grateful. I think I'm grateful for a lot of things, but there's nothing like being thrown on your back in pain to make you grateful for. I mean, we went out today, so today actually, look, I'm actually kind of dressed. I mean, these are big things when you're not feeling well, like to be out of the same clothes and to go into town and to be able to do more than just go into town and be like, okay, yeah, that looks great, let's go back. That's enough. And so those little things, I mean, just watching people walking around without, you know, just being able to walk around. It's a blessing. It's a blessing while we have it. And so, yes, that's bringing me. And also, you know, I was talking to a friend today. I haven't spoken, another friend actually, that I haven't spoken to in a while, but, you know, if you're sick or something big happens, then you get to find out who your real friends are. And she had called, and she's had some circumstances. I mean, we've all got life just like knocking us over, right? And she said that, you know, she didn't feel that she was as free now as she would like to be, or as she used to be. And I said, you know, can I ask you a question? And she said, sure. I was like, do you think that when you had the freedom, you used it and made the most of it? And she said, no, I didn't. And I said, I know that. And that's what I've been having, that feeling this year of, and I've been sharing it with you, of I don't know how long I can do this for. I don't know how long this is going to last, but however long, I'm going to enjoy it. And, you know, just, I don't know, even the week before we got back, I had pictures of Samaj just at the pool that we're at, but took pictures of me in a bikini. He's never taken pictures of me in a bikini before. Never had that before. I enjoyed the moment, you know, and it's kind of good because I don't feel far from a bloody bikini right now, let me tell you. And that was just 2 weeks ago. And so it doesn't mean I'll never walk again, or I'm thinking that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when I could do it, I did do it. I was starting to, you know, really tap into realizing that so often we get stuck in the idea of doing something. And then as soon as we can't do it, we're really like, oh, I really wanted to do that. I'd want to take my daily walk. But then when you've got the time, you're not taking your daily walk, you're doing something else. So becoming really real about that. And then making the most of what we have. And realising that, you know, having woken up from the fire, I'm always grateful to wake up. And then you just, you know, there's being able to just get dressed and showered and just go around your daily business is fucking huge, having our health. And without it, it doesn't matter how we look, it doesn't matter what we've got around us, it doesn't matter how much money's in the bank. None of that freaking matters when you feel like shit. I mean, just not, I mean, of course it's easier, it would be much easier if we had lots more money in the bank. Maybe some things would be easier, but I would still, you know, it's not going to make a difference to how I feel. And so just being really thankful for it when you're feeling well. Really, like, embracing that. And even now, you know, as I am now, I could be a lot worse. You know, and I know there's always somebody worse off than you. So on the relativity scale, that's you're always going to come at the bottom. But just the idea that I don't know, with my teeth and everything this year that's been going on, of just getting to a place where you make friends with where you're at. You know, I was at my lowest scale weight like 2 weeks ago. Woo, it's awesome. Then, you know, 3 days of kidney infection and stuff, and there's 8 pounds gone back on and whatever. At that number on the scale that's there, I made friends with that a few weeks ago, and I was just like, you know what, man, I love you. I love your number. I love this number. I love all the numbers. And life's given me lots of practice. It's like saying, okay, well, let's see. Let's see how you deal with it. So this is how I'm dealing with it, day by day.
Well, that's all I really have.
It super is. You know? I mean, we want to get caught up in those moments ahead of us. And then we come to the present moment, which is our greatest teacher. It's because it's the one that we're always trying to get away from. We're trying to sit in the past, or we're trying to sit in the future. And meanwhile, the present moment is speaking to us. And we can get to a stage where we realise that we've been in the future moments so much that we don't even know where the present begins.
Mm-hmm.
So that was me.
So being present.
Yeah. Presence of pain, presence TS. Just a lot of, just thinking a lot about, you know, having this external whatever, or this external stuff that we can have, but the internal health and fortitude, and the fortitude of the mind, and just really being able to be not so much, oh my God, why is this happening to me, and more, of course, wanting to know if there's anything I can do, you know, for it not to happen. But rather than it being like, this is something that's happening to me, that it's something that's happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as fricked up as that sounds, but in some way it makes me feel a little better, you know. And there is no universal truth. I mean, nobody can tell me exactly what the truth is, so it's what I believe that just feels more comfortable for me to believe, in a way. And it does, I mean, it feels very ironic. I just feel like I've got lessons like slapping me all over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just, and what does it matter? Like, it keeps coming back, like, what does it matter? What does it matter? I just can't get away from that. What does it matter? What's it all for? When I'm looking at the world, I keep going out there every time I go out, and I look at it and I see how it works, and I see everything going around, and I'm just like, I want to shake my head every time. I don't know, I'm like, ugh. It just, you know? Because everyone's saying, no, it can't be, and I'm just, that's where I feel I'm at. Don't know if any of that made sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's where I'm at.
Mm. Well, I was thinking about, like, when you have these moments that bring up this fear, that it's an opportunity to look at it differently. Yeah, you could ultimately, you could be stuck in the fear. You could be like, oh my God, this is gonna happen, and then everything that comes up as around that fear, anxiety or whatever. And so everything's about the fear. Or on the opposite side, I was thinking, well, you can kind of embrace it and be enthusiastic and say, hey, you know what, this is an opportunity for something way different than what has been. And since something has to change, it's an opportunity for change. I mean, you know, you're not going to run around and you're like, ah, hey, but a little shift in your mindset can make that situation very different. And so you're not like hovering over here in the pain field or right in the middle in the neutral where nothing happens, even though there's this big target that says something different needs to happen. And so you can't just stay right there. You got to be either over here or over there. And do you want to be over there on that side? That's a painful side. That's a painful side as well, but the outlook is not as grim, maybe. And so that's what I was thinking about. Just maybe we just look at it in a different way, that it's an opportunity.
I have to grab my notes.
To have
reminding me.
To have it all be a little different. And accept these lessons that come to us. And be open to the change. You know, change is tough. It's easier to be over on the other side that you're familiar with. And even to gravitate towards that because it's familiar.
So we didn't talk about this, but earlier when I went to meet you and you were writing and I was reading at the coffee shop, I was reading Pima again, of course. This is why I'm getting smacked around. Thanks, Pima. Thank you for being my teacher forever. So, about this moment being the perfect teacher and getting beyond hope and fear. Because on the one side you've got fear, on the other side you've got hope, and so you get caught between the two. You're either in hope or you're in fear. Ooh, it's a fucking precarious place to be. Everything feels great when you're in hope, and everything feels when we're in fear. It's kind of a weird way to be. Yeah. So she says we can meet our match with a poodle or with a raging guard dog, but the interesting question is, what happens next? And so she goes on to say, generally speaking, we regard discomfort in any form as bad news. But for practitioners or spiritual warriors, people who have a certain hunger to know what is true, feelings like disappointment, embarrassment, irritation, resentment, anger, jealousy, and fear, instead of being bad news, are actually very clear moments that teach us where it is that we are holding back. They teach us to perk up and lean in when we feel we'd rather collapse and back away. They're like messengers that show us with horrifying clarity exactly where we're stuck. That horrifying clarity. In other words, this very moment is the perfect teacher, and lucky for us, it's with us wherever we are. These events and people in our lives who trigger our unresolved issues could be regarded as good news. We don't have to go hunting for anything. We don't need to try and create situations in which we reach our limit. They occur by themselves or with clockwork regularity. And this is where we soften the hard edges and seek to, well, I go on to say, and seek the pain with our addictions. So, yes, that is it's a great place for something different. Interesting that we're both there. So I hadn't talked to you about my notes yet today.
No, and I didn't listen. So
no, and this was
so it's interesting that it.
Yeah, this was. And she goes on to talk about the discovery of egolessness, and that my meditation is about being awake in the midst of everyday chaos, and that's what. Ultimately, that's how we're bringing the meditation as a practice that we're bringing into our lives of allowing these thoughts to dissolve, whether they're in hope, whether they're in fear, and because that's not the present moment, so whatever the present moment is, and sitting more in that and being nailed, right? Nailed by that present moment. And she says, it's like when all our usual schemes fall apart and we're reaching our limit is like finding a doorway to sanity and the unconditional goodness of humanity rather than meeting an obstacle or a punishment. The safest and most nurturing place to begin working this is in during formal meditation. On the cushion, we begin to get the hang of not indulging or repressing, and what it feels like to let the energy just be there. So we can't do anything in meditation, right? There's no food we can go to. There's no so you're there with it. So in that practice, we get to feel like how it feels, like that's because there's a feeling, and if we can work that feeling, if we can work out what that feeling is, that trigger, that's huge. That first thing that in the staff meeting when someone says something, you feel your cheeks flush, or you're so mad. That, and then it goes on to, but you don't get to go back there. And then we get of indulging or repressing, and what it feels like to let the energy just be. This is why it's so good to meditate every single day and to continue and make friends with our hopes and fears again and again. And I love that, about making friends with our hopes and fears again and again. This sows the seed that enables us to be more awake in the midst of everyday chaos. It's a gradual awakening, and it's accumulative. And that's actually what happens. We don't sit in meditation to become good meditators. We sit in meditation so that we'll be more awake in our lives. Boom. Hema.
Word.
Boom. Word.
And that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
people wonder about meditation and think it's about being wise, or think it's about being still. Meditation really is the practice of living in our human lives as the spiritual beings that we are. And I would truly believe that my practice helps me in everyday life much more than I can ever give it credit for, including, being sick and just being able to deal with it better than I used to be able to deal with it, because I'd be angry and I'd be pissed off, and there's so many things that I need to do. But what can you do?
Nada.
Resistance is futile, and it's actually it goes against the grain of everything you're trying to do. So at some point, it's about surrendering, and it's surrendering over and over and over again. And I do believe that meditation is about surrendering over and over and over again, and it's that muscle that we get to flex, and it's not about having good experiences, and it's not about having bad experiences. It's about the experience, and it's about each experience being its own unique, exactly as it was supposed to be experience. What do you need that day? And sometimes what you need fucking sucks. It's just the truth. It's okay, because sucks is a relative term too. Like, what you might think sucks now, if it was taken away from you, you might want that back. So we have to start looking at what we think sucks as well, because it's very easy to get used to things and think, sucks, I want better than this. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you. Day 37.
Yeah.
Whoa. Coming up to summer solstice. Summer solstice, my favourite time of year. Literally is my Christmas. It's quite odd sitting here actually trying to be in the present moment on the one hand, and not trying to think about solstice, but thinking about solstice, if you know what I mean. And my birthday, my 50th birthday on the 25th, just days later. And so much in flux in our lives, and even in my health. So uncertainty abounds, and I guess that's the only thing in life that is certain, really, is that it's not certain. But what is certain is right now. And boy, when we start to try and live the right now thing, that can really start messing with our mind. So it's a good job we sit and meditate, because we need to. Yeah. So yeah, solstice is coming up, and we'll be starting Get Your Happy Back summer session, which along with you guys, I just got home today to 4 international envelopes from members of Get Your Happy Back. I know, because you had to put your addresses on the back. Little notes on the back for me not to open until the 25th. They sent me birthday cards. How freaking odd. You know, this group is 2 years old this summer, June 2017, and I've got to say, it's like a beautiful family that when I started making change, I didn't have. And so this is why I wanted to get you back. That's why I wanted this group. I wanted it because it's the place that I wanted to go when I was making change. It's where I wanted to be able to go and people wouldn't judge me and they'd support me. And that's what we're creating for our lifetime members. And that's what they're creating for themselves. You know, it's just a beautiful place to come and make change and to not make change to learn how to lose weight or to get a new lover or to get a new promotion. Because that shit's easy. But that's a one-time thing. So you lose the weight and then life happens and you put it back on. You get the new lover, and then you find out he's a shithead, or that you guys just don't mix together, or whatever. And especially with social media, I see it all the time. Like, people declaring that this is my soul man, this is my... You know, I've been together 2 minutes. And they might be together forever, or they might be together for 20 minutes. You know, you just don't forget... You know, it just... Life happens in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years. That's when life happens. Don't you want to start learning tools that are going to serve you in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Fuck today. Like, if it's going to serve you in 5 years, it's serving you today. It can serve you today and in 5 years. Like, it's really about getting down and getting away from all of these distractions, this shit that's just holding you back, and starting to delve in so that when the shit happens and it hits you upside the head, you've just got a little more equilibrium than you might have had otherwise. I don't know. That's my rant for today. So if that sounds appealing, you can come over to One Woman Revolution. That's One Woman. I got my teeth in. One Woman Revolution .tv/next step. Because that's what you're taking. The next step.
Absolutely.
You know, and it can be hard taking the next step to change. And it doesn't happen in 40 days. It doesn't happen in one season. Like, anyone who's telling you this, that it's going to happen, they can crush your cravings or you can stop dieting forever. Till you get in your mind, and that is a lifelong process. Change isn't going to happen. I'm not going to bullshit you. But when you start getting in your mind, that is where change starts to happen. So the sooner you start getting in there, the sooner you start making change. And it's change that lasts. And it's change you can build on. And it's fun. And it's with us. One Woman Revolution .tv/next step. You save $200, register for life. Sign up once, that's it. I make this shit easy. Because that's how change should be. We just need to make that stuff as easy as possible because the work is in just following through, doing your practices. We love you so much. Day 37, sit and drop. I think I'm finally on my way back. Yeah, I'm almost scared to say it, but I'm just going to say it for right now because in this present moment, I'm feeling much better, but I am just sat on the sofa, so there is that. But we'll see you tomorrow, and much love.
Salam.
Where's my